Yo, what's up, and welcome inside the opening line. Corey and Benny coming at you. I believe this is the first Monday in the month of August. We are in prime fantasy football season. Already had some preseason games go down over the Hall of Fame game at the end of last week. We had the Flex, the Fantasy League of Experts, take place in New York City this weekend. Shout out to the gracious host, my man, the all-in kid, Jake Seeley. We'll get into that in a couple moments from now. But first, Benny, what is good with you? How was the show?
It was pretty good this weekend. We actually got over to the beach, had my my in-laws down. It was my brother-in-law's birthday, so we got in the pool a little bit, got over to the beach for a little bit, hung out and ate a ton of food this weekend. So pretty good weekend. We watched UFC from Newark, which was like an afternoon UFC, which was pretty nice.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, first fight started around like 12:30 or so. So, in between running in the pool and hanging out there, cooking some barbecue and stuff like that, we were running inside and betting on that. Didn't make as much money as I did last weekend, but still walked away with a profit. So shout out to Mad Lab again for that.
No doubt. Spent most of my time this weekend with the boys, with the crew down at the Flex Leagues, you know what I'm saying? Hanging out on Friday and Saturday night. Yesterday, as you could see, we made the move official. We are in the new digs.
Nice.
The mayor of Harlem has given up. Let me not say I've given up my position, but I've handed Harlem over. As Harlem has been left in very good hands. My people uptown, I still got you covered. So I got a couple pieces for like this wood wall behind. You know what I'm saying? So a little later on, we'll run through some of those and see how that's going to, and see what you like. You know what I mean? Because it's interesting because it's not my man cave. You know what I'm saying? It's my brother-in-law's, whatever, and he's on like some different on a different vibe, whatever. So we'll check it out. You know what I mean? Vinny, I'll let you, because I think we got enough to rotate the joints. You know what I'm saying? So that's what's going to be dope about it. All right, so let's start with this Flex League auction. Yo, so it was some tense moments, Benny, because obviously we get into the auction room. The first four guys off the board are the big dogs. You know what I'm saying? The big dogs go off first. As Matt Camp and Joe Dolan call them, the Mount Rushmore of fantasy running backs in 2019. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So each and every last single one of them go for $57.
Okay. Now this is a $200 total, right?
$20 total.
Yeah. All right. So you're talking about 28% of your budget going to one of the stud running backs if you want to get that.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, I wasn't in on the stud running backs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go a different direction with my auction. Obviously, the player that I was targeting was
Odell
Beckham. You know what I'm saying?
And you didn't get him, right?
No, I did not get Odell.
Yeah, because I saw that our boy Nando, right? Nando paid $50 for him.
Yes, Nando paid $50 for him.
That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money.
And the thing about it is, Benny, that was so crazy, right? Is like, I'm gonna be doing some stuff for the Athletic and stuff this year, and Nando is the editor, right? So when I'm in the draft room and I get Odell up to 46, I just hear somebody go 47. And I'm like, you got to be shitting me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, here he goes. He's coming for my guy. You know what I'm saying? He's either going to price him for us or he's going to take him. Benny, I promised myself I was not going over $50 for one player.
Right.
So Odell gets to 50. You got him, Nando. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, you backed out. No, I mean, I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, if those running backs were going for 57, I wouldn't have been able to pay 50 for Odell Beckham and felt good about it because I would have rather have paid 60 for one of those running backs. You know what I mean? Like I would have rather been in on a running back at that point than Odell Beckham at 50.
People were asking about my thing with Odell Beckham this year. I liken it to this. Let's say I think Odell is going to do what Terrell Owens did his first year in Philadelphia. I think he can flirt with 50. I think he can flirt with 20 touchdowns.
Yeah, I was going to say 50. We're getting a little crazy. I mean, this is the argument that a lot of people are actually making is he's Terrell Owens in Philly. He's Randy Moss in New England. Like, those are the kind of numbers and the kind of year that people are expecting Odell Beckham to have. If he puts up that kind of a ceiling, then he's worth 50.
Yeah.
But at 50, you basically need him to put up one of those kind of seasons, and that's my fault.
I'm buying all the risks, which I don't mind with Odell. You know what I'm saying? But Nando got him right. So now, Benny, Odell didn't come out till after 10, 11 times around the room.
Okay.
So players are coming off the board, right? Devontae Adams had been going already.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Hopkins had gone already. All those players went for about 45 to 47, 48 range, right?
Okay. Makes sense. About 80% of the top running backs. That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So we spin back around again. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have Odell. At this time, Benny, the only players I even have on the team are the only players I got on the team are the Philadelphia Eagles defense, right, and Matt Ryan. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles defense sounds awkward. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, somebody threw that out that early. That's weird.
Somebody threw that out early. I like the Eagles defense coming into this year, number one. It was one of the defenses I was targeting, right? And, I have a trick when it comes to auctions. What a lot of people will do is they'll throw out a defense or a kicker that they like, that they really want for $1. I just be like, $2.
Mm-hmm.
They never go to $3. You know what I'm saying? If they do go to $3, I let them have it. So when I heard Eagles defense $1, like the room kind of just was like, oh, okay. And I was like, $2. And the dude was like, son, I thought you were a Cowboy fan, my man Rich Reeball. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, I am a Cowboy fan, but I like the Eagles deep. So there you go right there. So I had the Eagles defense, and I had a $4 Matt Ryan, which I told you discussed earlier, many times how I like Matt Ryan this year. But now everybody else, Benny, I got like $198, $194. Everybody else, Benny, has like, less than $100. You know what I mean? We're pretty deep into the auction now.
Okay.
So Dalvin Cook's comes out. I said I was willing to go up to 38 for Dalvin Cook.
Right.
Dalvin Cook gets up to 39. I tap out, right? So I'm like, all right, here we go. Now I'm getting to the point where I can hear the broadcast, right? And I can hear Matt Camp and Joe Dolan like, man, Corey Parson might be in trouble. And I'm like, at that point, I was like, all right, I'm worried, but I'm not worried.
Right.
So I throw out, when it gets to my nomination, I throw out Nick Chubb. I get Nick Chubb for 35, which I thought Chubb and Cook were about in the same range, right?
Right.
So now, when Julio comes out, I'm like, I'm not paying $50 for Julio Jones. Sure enough, Julio shoots right up to 50. I get the 49, I stop. Everybody's like, Joe, go 51, go 51. I'm like, I'm good.
Mm.
So, no Julio. So now everybody's like, well, how are you going to spend this money? You know what I'm saying? Everybody's spending money, buying players and stuff like that. DVR bought, my man Jerry Van Riper, he bought, speaking of that, everybody in the damn league, Betty, watched the story last week about your son.
Oh,
so,
yeah?
DVR had Lev Bell, Saquon Barkley, and Todd Gurley. So really went big-time stars and scrubs, right?
And then he had a whole bunch of $1 players to round that out.
It was I'll get into a little bit something that happened, and I don't know if I agree with it, and I'll get to that and I'll break that down. So what I noticed is there was a tier, Benny, of 5 wide receivers. It was Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, Stephon Diggs, Robert Woods, and Tyler Lockett.
Okay.
I was left. And I was like, I need to get at least 3 of those 5.
Right. Okay.
And that's how I start spending this money. You know what I'm saying? So what ends up happening was I get Keenan Allen for $29.
Okay. That's not a bad price at all.
We talked about Keenan Allen. Like you said, it's an excellent price, in my opinion, for Keenan Allen. I get T.Y. Hilton for $35.
Okay. Again, not a bad price. You're talking – these other guys are going for 50, so you're getting them for 60 and 70% of the top wide receivers, and that's the tier right behind them. So I don't mind that at all.
And then, lastly, I get a $30 Stephon Diggs.
So basically you spent under $100 on 3 of the better second-tier wide receivers.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I did.
That's fine.
That was the pivot right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad deal at all.
Yep. So that was the pivot. That was the breakoff. So now I got Matt Ryan, Nick Chubb, Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, and Stephon Diggs. And I'm like, okay, we can go to battle. Let's put the rest together.
Yeah, you got like $75-$80 left at that point too, right?
Austin Hooper. I paid for Jimmy White. Matter of fact, I got the auction board right in front of me. Paid for Jimmy White. I got my guy Geronimo Allison for $6. I got Jimmy White for 11. Austin Hooper for 8. I got Rashard Penny for 15. Justice Hill for 6. Dallas Goedert for 3. Greg Olsen, Michael Gallup, each $1 players. Round out the list. I have a $4 Cam Newton to go along with a $4 Matt Ryan. I will admit that was a mistake. I meant to throw Cam out at 1 by accident because I'm looking at my value for him. So instead of saying 1, I said 4. And I got crickets on Cam Newton, yeah.
You got him at 4. You could have saved a couple bucks on it. That's not horrible, though. That's okay. I saw you got Dallas Goedert and Greg Olsen, tight ends down there to go along with Hooper, too. For pretty cheap. Yeah, Tariq Cohen, $9. Rashard Penny, $15. Justice Hill, $6. I'm looking at your team right now. Yeah, that's not bad, man. You got a lot of – basically, the tough part for you, you're going to have to play – with that second running back, you're going to have to play a lot of matchups on the week with those guys. But that's fine because you got 4 or 5 of them. So every week you should have one that's in a good spot.
That's the way I was looking at it. So that's how it came together. And then, that is right there, the flex auctions right here. Half-point PPR, 12-team league, half-point PPR, $4 on the quarterback touchdown pass. Now, bring it back to DVR. When we were in the auction room, some news broke about Antonio Brown's foot. Nobody in the room was kind of on it. Sirius XM radio program director Matt Deutsch came in, told the auctioneer. The auctioneer made the announcement. Obviously, Antonio Brown comes right up for bid after that.
Right.
He goes for $28. $28 Antonio Brown is on Derek Van Riper's team that has Saquon Barkley, Le'Veon Bell, and Ty Gurley. You see, he could have got, listen, I like DVR's team, this Stars and Scrubs approach. I think he did a fine job. You know what I'm saying? My thing is this, though. Was it right for Matt Deutsch to come in there and drop that information while we were in auction?
I look at this one of 2 ways, right? To me, I think that as long as everybody has the information, it's not wrong. But at the same point in time, I would rather, if something happens while everybody's in there, you're always sitting there with the computer, right?
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody does this draft with a computer. So you all should have had something open, whether it's Twitter,
your phone, exactly.
RotoWire, Roto World, there's guys from all over the place in there, whatever site you use or whatever information source you use, if you all had a computer and you all had access to it, then I really don't think anybody should have said anything about it.
And I didn't have a big deal. I didn't make a big deal about it. You know what I'm saying? I just found it interesting. DVR took advantage of it because obviously Antonio Brown's price came down. He got him for $28. Now he could have possibly, you know what I mean, 3 of the 4 top play. 3. He's got 4 guys that could all be, top 15 guys. Not to mention he also has a $10 Aaron Rodgers on his team.
But see, at the same point in time, let's say that this foot injury is a little bit more than people are letting on for it. Exactly. His team is also basically screwed because if that was the one with those 3 running backs and a $10 Aaron Rodgers, he couldn't have paid up for any other wide receivers. So if Antonio Brown doesn't play, his wide receiver core is probably garbage.
Yeah. So, the rest of his wide receivers are Devin Funches, Traquan Smith, Emmanuel Sanders, James Washington, $1 on Antonio Callaway, and $2 on Anthony Miller. Really, this team is going to be led by Aaron Rodgers, Saquon Barkley, Le'Veon Bell, and hopefully, for his sake, Todd Gurley.
Yeah, well, like I said, look at those wide receivers. That's, again, that's a pretty trash wide receiver group that he put together there.
Yeah.
Now, I understand that, I'm not knocking him for the way he built his team.
No, it's his strategy.
Yeah, he went heavy on the running backs, and if you go again, it's an auction. You only have so much money. It's like the NFL. It's a salary cap. You can't put all superstars on your team. You got to have some guys that are cheap there too. He chose to build through running backs. And that's why I don't think it's a bad deal, because again, in a lot of these leagues, Corey, or any league you're in my opinion, your goal should be to win. Yep. So the strategy you put together should be one that has the upside to win it for you. If Antonio Brown winds up being fine and being ready to go week 1, and this is no big deal, like you said, now he has a fourth guy that could end up being a top 20 scorer in fantasy this year, whereas nobody else does, and he got him at a discounted price. Same thing with Todd Gurley. He probably paid less for Todd Gurley than you would expect.
Exactly.
And if Gurley hits this year, he's got 2 superstars who have been top 5, top 10 players in the NFL in years past, and he got him at a discounted price. I mean, that's the way you could put together a team that could win. Does he need things to break in the right way for him? Yes, but you kind of need a little luck no matter how good you are in any fantasy league in order to win it. So I don't think it's a bad move at all. I think, he gave himself a chance to win the championship, which is what you really want to do.
No doubt. So shout out to him. If you go to his Twitter, you'll see where he has a thread of breaking down the auction. All right, we're in the new digs. I want to show y'all some stuff. Benny, hold me down. I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, basically, Corey was doing the flex league this weekend. I was doing a lot of the drafts over on Play Draft again. If you guys haven't started over there, I think you should go check it out. Even if it's just to get you, to get a little bit of experience drafting before you do whatever your big draft is that you're going to be putting money in. They have them over at the $5 level. It starts out at. Then they have the $25 one, which is the one we talked about that has the $1 million first overall prize. And then they have one that's $150 that I actually think is the best value if you're somebody who doesn't mind plunking a little bit of money down on the draft. There's only 4,000 people in the overall on that one, and you do have a chance to win $100,000. So, again, it's like, 1/4 of 1/10%, but, it's still a much better chance to win $100,000 than, the one with the $25 entry. There's like, tens, hundreds of thousands of people in that one. So your chances of winning the $1 million are about as good as your chances of winning the $1 million one of these weekends on DraftKings. It's almost not going to happen, and it probably winds up being one of those guys with 150 lineups. But if you do have some time, go over there to Play Draft. They have that $5 draft. It'll at least get you used to seeing where guys are coming off the board, who's going versus who. And it also kind of ramps up some of your research for some of these later round guys, because you'll be like, all right, my pick's coming up, and these are the 3 guys on the board. Let me go check out these 3 guys and see which one I want. If you do more, drafting's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So the more of these drafts you can do, even if it's the $5 ones, it'll get you set for whatever your big draft is coming up down the line.
No doubt about it. So, and then don't forget fantasyguru.com draft guide 2019, ready to rock and roll right now.
Yeah, and if you guys have a chance, right now, the VIP package for the Fantasy Guru season-long draft thing, it's still only $49.99. It goes up to, it's $100, and it's going to be going up to $100 full price soon. But right now, they still have the early bird going. So get in there. We'll throw a link up with it, when we throw up the video later. But that's definitely a really good deal. $49.99. You get all the pre-draft stuff, and you get, all the waiver articles and stuff like that from guys like Vlad and Corey and Ray Flowers during the season.
All right, so no doubt about it. All right, so got the neutral wall behind us, Benny. But we got a couple pieces that my brother-in-law has down here. And I was like, I want to see which ones we think that we can put up. This one right here, I believe this is old Ebbets Field. And obviously that is the great Jackie Robinson sliding home.
Yeah, that would definitely be up. I actually have a hand-drawn picture of Ebbets Field that I got at the Baseball Hall of Fame hanging up in my room right now. So that's pretty cool. I like that one.
Yeah, no doubt. Let's go back over here. Obviously, we got a pretty cool banner right here representing the New York Yankees.
You could always put Yankee stuff up. You're never going to get me to say no about that.
That's the interlocking NY. You got this was right here was the logo when I was growing up, the WPIX Channel 11 logo when they would show the Yankee games. And then that's the other NY back, the 1940s NY. So obviously this is right here is a pretty dope one.
I like that one.
My brother-in-law is from the Bay Area, so he also has this joint right here. You know what I'm saying?
I like that too, actually.
And then you got the classic elephant joint right there. You know what I'm saying? And then the joint that this is what they're using now, right?
I got to double check on that, but yeah, I think so.
Does
it have the yellow around it? I'm trying to think of their hats.
The yellow is around it.
Yeah. Okay. So then, that's the A's hat. That's the A's That's the A's logo now.
So obviously we out here in Nassau County, so we got to represent for Nassau County. And the greatest athlete in Nassau County history from Long Island,
Dr. J.
Doc right there.
I like that, man. I like that a lot, actually.
The ABA Doc, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Dr. J from Freeport, Long Island, out here in Nassau County. Shout out to the Doc. The last one I'll show you, Benny, you're going to like a lot. I got one right here, though, that is not going up. I shouldn't even be having my hands on it. The old Veterans Memorial Stadium.
I went to concerts there.
How about that? I seen people get their knees torn up there.
Yeah, I went to University of Delaware for college, and that was actually the closest major stadium. So we used to go up there for concerts all the time.
That's pretty dope. The old vet. This one hasn't even come out of the plastic yet. It is Dub Dynasty. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's a Bay Area guy. That one's definitely got to go up. And I know you're a Warriors guy, so that'll probably wind up in the back too.
And then right here, Benny, this one right here is going to be hard to top because you kind of combine both of them with the New York love and the Bay Area, and only one person can do that. You know who that is.
Reggie. Yeah, that's a good one. That's got to go up there too.
So there you go. That's how we'll figure out what we're going to have in the background right there. So we're in the new digs, but still, Harlem is still, Harlem is in good hands, Benny. You know what I'm saying? It's hot down. It's hot down this joint, though. What do we think about this? Couple injuries. Are you worried about Antonio Brown's foot?
I mean, worried? Put it this way. I always worry when a guy comes into the season with an injury.
No doubt.
Especially if it's an injury that will affect his play. Like a wide receiver with a foot injury, not being able to cut, maybe it affects his speed, maybe it affects his ability to get lift off the ground and go up and make catches. So, yeah, I'm concerned about it. Now, I'm less concerned when you're getting a guy at a good discount because then I could make up for, like you said, the risk that you're taking makes up for, his upside makes up for the risk that you're taking. The problem I have is Antonio Brown, at least the drafts I was in this weekend, is still going, around the same area. So I obviously think you got to be looking to get him at a discount if you're going to take that chance because the risk level on it went up. Now, maybe he's fine. Maybe everything's good. But, like I said, it's hard enough to stay healthy in a 16-game season when you come in feeling good. When you're already coming into the season a little bit banged up with an issue, that does scare me. So he's definitely somebody that I'm going to have to be getting a good deal on before I pull the trigger on.
Somebody else, and it kind of ties into a couple of players I like. Andrew Luck with his calf injury. The last person to push through a calf injury was Kevin Durant. So what happened to him?
True. Here's the thing that I'll say, though, with a quarterback, maybe it means that Luck doesn't scramble as much this year, which is a little bit concerning. That's obviously something that, he has in his game that we factor in a little bit. But I don't think he needs to be running around anywhere near as much as a Kevin Durant does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
Durant's going up and down on both ends of the floor. Most plays, Andrew Luck's going to take 3 to 7 steps and then fire a football out of there. So as long as he's still able to throw and as long as all that is looking good, I don't really have much of an issue with that. Again, I'm more worried about a wide receiver with a foot injury than I am with a quarterback that has some kind of foot or ankle injury going, because that quarterback can probably still be able to sit in the pocket and pick teams apart. That wide receiver really needs that athletic ability in order to get separation and to make plays. So to me, it's a bigger deal with a wide receiver than it is with a quarterback.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm going to keep an eye on that situation. So I'm trying to get some more information on that. Benny, I want to go through something. I want to talk about quarterbacks that can lose their job this year. Could Andy Dalton lose his job this season?
Yes, but it would probably be later on in the year when they're out of it already.
Okay.
I think they're going to go with him until they get to that point where they're going to be out of it. And they did bring in a new QB this year, so they'll probably want to at least take a look and see what this kid has and kind of go from there. Andy Dalton had a couple good seasons, and he wound up getting paid. And since then, it's kind of been on the downside of it. Here's my big problem, though, Corey. I mean, we're already starting off without A.J. Green for them. You know, how bad are things going to be? I mean, Tyler Boyd is a good wide receiver, but they really don't have a lot of talent around them. So
Tyler Eifert can stay healthy, which is a big if.
That's another if. That's what I'm saying. It's like on paper, they always have good players. The problem is by the middle of the season, a lot of those guys end up on the IR, and you're basically down to Tyler Boyd as your number one, Joe Mixon as your running back, and then weapons that you're kind of picking up off the street.
Will Nick Foles lose his job this season?
I don't think so. I think Nick Foles actually has a pretty good year and surprises some people.
You can get Nick Foles for $1 in the draft. Yeah. And I agree with you, Benny. Will Marcus Mariota lose his job this season?
Again, I don't think so. I actually think that this is the year where they kind of put things together. But he's a lot like Andy Dalton, where if they start falling out of it and he's playing like crap, they're probably going to move on and see what else they can do, figuring that this is not going to be the long-term answer. I think for both Andy Dalton and Marcus Mariota, and even to an extent Jameis Winston, this is the put up or shut up year for those guys.
I agree with you on that one. I think Mariota could be in trouble of losing his job this year. I don't think that Joe Flacco loses the job. I think because the coach basically said Drew Lock is not ready to play professional football yet.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of them bringing in Joe Flacco is because they knew they were going to draft a quarterback who wasn't ready to step in and play yet. So, to me, other than an injury, I think Joe Flacco's there. Lock sits behind them. And again, Flacco's been around the league for a long time. Like, this is not a bad guy to have a young quarterback sitting behind and learning from.
Yep.
But I really don't think it's a situation where, like, if Lock plays this year, it's probably going to be week 15, 16, 17 if Denver's out of it, and they just kind of want to give the kid a chance to go in there and just, see
what kind of development he has made.
Yeah, get a feel for it.
Obviously, we think Eli Manning will lose his job at some point.
I'm surprised he hasn't already.
Exactly.
I don't know. Eli Manning is probably not going to lose his job, Corey. I mean, this is
right, Benny.
The way the Giants do things. They'll probably let him play out this year, give him another 1 year, $20 million extension, and then tell us how great Daniel Jones is in the offseason.
Thanks. Jameis Winston, we've already discussed. Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting one. Jimmy Garoppolo.
No. Dude, the only way Jimmy G loses his job is if he's hurt. Put it 2 years ago, if you're drafting last year, before any injuries happened, Jimmy Garoppolo was being talked about as a top 5 quarterback.
He was.
He was Baker Mayfield last year. He was the guy that didn't have the track record other than like a small couple games from the season before.
Yeah.
That everybody was way overdrafting last year, expecting a lot from him. So you can't go – and again, it's not like he played bad. He got hurt. Like, it's not really his fault. So you can't go from being a guy that everybody thought was worthy of a top 5 pick in fantasy drafts to being a guy who's in danger of losing his job. I think as long as Jimmy Garoppolo stays healthy, he's the quarterback for San Francisco, and I actually expect him to play pretty well this year.
I think he's going to have a good season too. I wouldn't be if it gets shaky though. I wouldn't be surprised if they have a quick trigger. I'll be honest with you, just to send him a message. NBA. What do you think? Christmas Day.
Oh, I didn't see the schedule out?
Yes, Christmas Day schedule is out, and they have announced their opening night schedule, too.
Are the Lakers playing the Clippers on Christmas?
The Lakers are playing the Clippers on Christmas.
Oh, I'm going to love it, man. My Christmas present is going to be watching LeBron and Anthony Davis get their ass kicked.
Ha, 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 ha. Well, you don't have to wait that long because the very first game of the season, I'm not mistaken.
Clippers and the Lakers?
It's going to be the Clippers and the Lakers.
People don't understand. The Clippers are going to be so friggin' good this year.
Like, they're not going to be that bad either, Benny.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Lakers not going to be that bad either.
They're not that good. The Clippers. All right, listen, Kawhi. You can make an argument that Kawhi Leonard's the best player in the NBA, and people are not going to think you're crazy.
No, and then you can also say LeBron James is too. And people be like, that's the truth.
I'm not going to argue that, but I'll take Kawhi over LeBron right now.
Okay.
All right. Paul George has always been one of my favorite players and one of the most underrated players in the NBA, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers didn't make the playoffs last year. The Clippers did.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, the positions where the Clippers were weak are the ones where they got better. So you're going to start defensively, or not, I shouldn't say start. Their main five on the floor is going to consist of Beverly,
Montrez.
See, that was what I was thinking is the center. Like, Harold probably going to be the center out there.
Yep.
I mean, you look at the team that they had last year, and you're basically taking the core of that team and adding Paul George and Kawhi Leonard while really only taking away, like, Danilo Gallinari.
To a team coached by Doc Rivers, the Lakers may have some issues to work out coaching first.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the Clippers, to me, the Clippers are the deserving favorite in the NBA next year, and I think they're just going to roll people. Like, this could be a 65-70 win team.
Yep. So
they're going to be that good.
Hold on 1 second.
Because my biggest problem with the Lakers, I mean, all right, you added Anthony Davis. So you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who I'm not going to argue aren't two of the top 7 or 8 players in the entire NBA. My big problem with them, though, is after that, other than Kyle Kuzma, there's not much on that team I really like.
Yeah. No, I can get it. But you like I said, and I will worry about the coaching too. So opening night is going to be Lakers and Clippers, and opening night will also have, obviously, the Toronto Raptors. But guess who they'll be playing, Benny? The New Orleans Pelicans.
Oh, that's pretty good because everybody wants to see Zion. So the NBA is smart like that. They put matchups on there that they know people are going to want to watch and people are going to want to go see. So that'll be interesting. I'm interested to see how well Toronto does this year because a lot of the thing with that team, yes, Kawhi Leonard was the guy that put them over the top, but they still have a lot of talented players around them. I feel like there is a need for a superstar there. As much as I love Kyle Lowry, and I'm not trying to knock Kyle Lowry, but I feel like they still need something else. You know what I mean? Like there's the hole that you got to fill when Kawhi Leonard walks away is a lot bigger than I think people are giving it credit for.
No doubt. That's a hell of a hole to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing that I find interesting is the Christmas Day lineup. It will start in Toronto.
Right.
With those Toronto Raptors taking on the Boston Celtics.
See, the Boston Celtics are a much different team this year. So I'm interested to see how that all comes together. I mean, there's, a lot of the pieces that were the main pieces the last couple of years are gone, and even some of the secondary guys are gone now too, I mean, you lost both of the point guards. Rozier wound up jumping. You bring in Kemba Walker to replace, Kyrie Irving. Al Horford walks away. So it's going to be interesting to see how all those young guys, all those draft picks that were so coveted by Danny Ainge that he didn't want to trade any of them or get rid of any of them, all those guys that they drafted are now going to have to step up and play bigger roles, the Browns, the Tatums, all those guys. So we're going to have to see. We'll see what they're made of this year. Next
up on Christmas Day is the 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks.
That'll be a really good game, man. I mean, the Bucks, that was my team last year. They didn't get it done, but that was my team. And the Sixers have gotten better in the offseason. So, that's going to be a really good game. I'll be looking forward to watching that one.
Also on Christmas Day, we'll get our second look, quite obviously, at the Clippers and Lakers. After Clippers-Lakers, we'll go to Denver, which I find interesting. They're going to Denver this year. They go to Denver, and Denver will be playing the New Orleans Pelicans.
I think Denver wins that. If there was a line on that game right now and it was less than 5, I'd take Denver right now.
It probably is, Ben.
If they have a lineup for it already and it's less than 5, take Denver right now. You know what? I wouldn't go too crazy on it because you never know how injuries can affect things between now and then, but I would expect Denver to beat New Orleans.
I would expect Denver to beat New Orleans also.
I think New Orleans is going to wind up being the team that I bet against the most this year. and again, it's not a knock on Zion or anything else. It's just that I think that people are overvaluing.
They're going to be betting them because they want to bet.
Exactly, because it's Zion and people are going to want to put money on it. So, yeah.
The Pelicans are a 9-point underdog. So, there you go.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of points, but it
Yep.
makes sense. Good. So maybe we're not going to get the favorable lines that I thought betting against the Pelicans this year.
Interesting to see how if that number comes down to that spot where you like that. All right, so that is the NBA Christmas Day game. The only other game that they have announced is November 15th. You will have they didn't announce when Kawhi is – no, they announced in March you'll have Paul George making his first trip to Oklahoma City. And they also announced November 15th they will have the Portland Trail Blazers in Houston to take on the Rockets, the rivalry between Damian Lillard and Russell Westbrook in a new location. All right, Benny, what we got for baseball before we get up out of here?
Yeah, again, this point in the season, we got a lot of minus 240 favorites, minus 300 favorites on some of them, and you can't really mess around with it. Here's two that I do kind of like, though. I like the Indians at minus 185 today. People are going to look at Mike Minor as a plus 160 underdog and be like, oh, man, we should be on the Texas side of that. But the kid that pitched for the Indians is actually not bad. And the thing that a lot of people need to remember is this Indians team just went out and traded for a whole bunch of right-handed power bats that profile really well against a lefty like Mike Minor. They brought in Yasiel Puig. They brought in Reyes. They still have Luplow. All those switch hitters, Lindor, Ramirez, Santana at the top of the order. This lineup right now against left-handed pitching is pretty elite with some of the guys that they added in there. So I know the Indians are minus 185. I think minus 185 even against Mike Minor is still a very good bet on the Indians. I'm going to be parlaying them with the Atlanta Braves, which I think is a little bit of a riskier bet. But again, I love Mike Soroka. That's one of my favorite young pitchers in the league right now. He's a guy that's going up today. Not an easy matchup for him. I mean, the Minnesota Twins are a pretty good offense. They're going to be a team that goes out there and hits the ball well. But the real thing comes down to the other side of this game. I am not a big fan of Jake Odorizzi. I think Jake Odorizzi has pitched a little above his head so far this year, and that the regression is kind of coming for him. And, a guy like Freddie Freeman is somebody that I'm looking at. I think righties have always done pretty well in righty-on-righty same-handed spots against him. So guys like Acuna and Albies and all those other guys in the lineup. So I like the Atlanta Braves on minus 112. It's one of the few, decent priced money line odds that I'm willing to eat today. So Braves minus 112, Indians minus 185. I think you need to hop on both early because I expect both of those lines to move.
No doubt. The Braves right now on FanDuel minus 108. Time for a big piece of chicken. I do not know the hero's name that went into that mall in El Paso and helped save those children. But he obviously gets our big piece of chicken as we see more senseless violence right here in the United States. But you know what? I know where it's coming from, Benny. What's going on? What you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna give our big piece of chicken today to our boy Jake Seeley for running the Flex League. I know he was like pulling his hair out trying to get everything going there. He's trying to drag me up from the beach to go sit around with a bunch of dudes and draft a people. I was like, Jake, man, I got my priorities straight. There's certain things in life I'm willing to do. If this was a random weekend in September and everybody was home anyway, we were all hanging out, I'd 100% be in a draft. But in the middle of the summer, I'm not there. But again, the fact that he runs around and puts this whole thing together, it's a lot of work if you've ever put together a draft. Trying to get a whole bunch of people coordinated to fly in and be somewhere in New York City at the same time for 3 drafts, right? It was an auction draft and then 2 other drafts on the next day. It's not an easy thing to do. So shout out to Jake Seeley for all the work he does.
No doubt. Shout out to the all-in kid. My main man, Bitchy, is Benny. Bitchy, my fault. My main man, Benny.
I am a little bitchy on a Monday, so that's all right. That's fine. I'm good with that.
Corey Parson, the fantasy executive, the opening line. We are out.